Today, we are diving deep into 10 everyday habits that, honestly, keep millions of Americans stuck in a financial rut. But more importantly, we're going to show you how to break free from them starting right now. Let's get into it.
This quote right here, it really hits the nail on the head. See, this isn't about blaming anyone. It's about realizing that a lot of what we consider normal financial behavior is actually kind of designed to keep you spinning your wheels. The trick is to see the game for what it is and then learn to play it a whole lot differently.
So here's our game plan. First up, we're going to tackle those invisible mindset traps that hold you back. Then, we'll get practical and plug the money leaks that are draining your wallet. After that, we're switching from defense to offense to build your financial fortress. And finally, we'll lay out the path to real freedom.
All right, let's start with the battle that happens inside your head. Because really, before you can get a handle on your money, you have to get a handle on your mindset. Your bank account is pretty much a mirror of your beliefs and habits. So let's start right there. You know, this might be the biggest trap of all, just drifting. Living on financial autopilot. You get your paycheck, you pay some bills, you spend whatever's left, and then at the end of the month, you're just scratching your head wondering where it all went. If you don't have a plan for your money, it'll just vanish. It's time to grab the steering wheel.
And who's in the passenger seat with you? Well, that autopilot is hugely influenced by the people you hang out with. If your whole crew is constantly buying the latest thing and living for the weekend, it's almost impossible not to get swept up in that. But, you know, when you surround yourself with people who are focused on building something for the future, that growth mindset, it just becomes your new normal.
So, the escape hatch from all that short-term thinking is to create a roadmap. You can't just stumble into wealth. So ask yourself, what's your one-year goal? Maybe it's just paying off that one nagging credit card. What about 5 years? A down payment on a house? And what's your 10-year vision for what freedom actually looks like? You gotta write it down. Make it real.
Okay, so we're working on the mindset. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. It's time to find and plug up all those little leaks that are silently sinking your financial boat day after day.
And the biggest leak of all? It's hiding in plain sight. We're talking about high-interest debt. I mean, it's become totally normal in the US to live on credit cards. But listen, an interest rate of 25, even 30%, that's not a financial tool. It's a wealth-destroying trap. Credit cards are for earning rewards, not for survival. And here's another huge one, our obsession with easy monthly payments. It feels so harmless, right? Paying a little bit each month for a new phone or a sofa. But here's the dirty little secret. You're paying way more in the long run for stuff that's losing value every single day. These tiny payments just slowly bleed you dry. And finally, you've got all those little fees that just add up to a fortune. Bank fees, late penalties, overdraft fees. Americans lose billions of dollars to this stuff every year. And the crazy part is, most of it is totally avoidable with simple things like finding a no-fee bank, setting up automatic payments, and turning on account alerts. Okay, so we've plugged the leaks, the boat is no longer taking on water. Now it's time to build. This section is all about shifting from just trying to survive, that's defense, to actively building wealth and security, that's offense.
The very first brick in your fortress has to be an emergency fund. I mean, look at this statistic. It's staggering. 2/3 of Americans can't even cover a simple $400 emergency. A flat tire, a broken appliance, that one thing can send most people into a debt spiral. That's why building this buffer has to be your absolute first priority.
A strong fortress also needs a good defense, and that includes your credit score. A huge part of that is something called credit utilization. It's actually really simple. If you have a $10,000 credit limit, you want to try to keep your balance below $3,000. Keeping that number low makes you look way more reliable and it protects your financial health.
Now, let's talk about protecting your fortress from an internal threat called lifestyle creep. You know what I'm talking about. It's that natural urge to spend more as you make more, which means you never actually get ahead. So here's a simple rule. When you get a raise, automatically save half of that new money, and then go spend the other half completely guilt-free. It's the perfect balance of rewarding yourself now and building for your future. And finally, the ultimate offensive weapon, investing. So many people wait way too long because they think you need to be rich to start. But here's the thing. Compound interest is magic, and it rewards people who start early, not just people who start with a lot. Even a small amount, like $100 a month, can grow into a massive nest egg over the decades. You've heard that saying, right? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So what's the big takeaway here? The path to real financial freedom, it's not about winning the lottery or getting some six-figure job.
It's built one brick at a time, with the small things you do every single day.
If you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. Your income, that's just a tool. It's your habits that decide whether that tool builds a prison of debt or a fortress of freedom. If you systematically get rid of the habits we just talked about, your financial life will completely transform. I don't care what your paycheck says.
Your journey starts this very second, with one small choice. Just look back at everything we've covered. The mindset traps, the money leaks, building your fortress. Which one of those really hit home for you? What is the very first habit you are going to break starting today? Because that one choice, that's the first step on your path to freedom.